Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to talk about resets, okay, and how to identify them and within the 3-day cycle, okay. So I always, like to stress that there's a couple of ways you can look at the markets. I was initially trained and learned from BTMM, and here of late, I have been focusing on the Stacy Burke trading, which really brought it home for me. So this is, I'm always going to do this. At least I'm going to try to remember to always do this when I'm doing the videos is, the day count, which the basic weekly template, Monday's day 1, Tuesday's day 2, Wednesday's day 3, and it resets to day 1 and then 2 and 3. However, with the indicator, it is based off of the peak, right? So this is the peak high of the week, which was the higher high. Okay. It came back to the high, guys, and it took it out just a little bit. So now we have another higher high. And then here's where the market, had a reset. Okay. So that's how and why you would see a 2 peak formation like this, or a new peak formation. I'm just saying 2 peak because currently the markets are closed. However, Friday, this was a day 3 trade, right? And Friday was a holiday, so it wasn't like a beautiful trade, but nonetheless, it's still what it is. Okay, so we have our new peak established. Okay, if you're looking at every day is a 3-day trade, then technically Wednesday would be when you would expect the reversal because it's the back side of the move, right? Monday we had the front side of the move. And then Wednesday, we had the backside, which is where it dropped. Okay. Now, this will be a new peak and a first red day all at once. Okay. And why is it a first red day? Because of course, again, we had our peak here and then we had another peak reset. And then of course, we had the open and the market closed below the open. All right, that is like if you were able to catch this 3-day trade, right? This was the trade on Wednesday. Okay, so then now that's a new peak reset. I always count these days, so now that's I would count this actually. Hold on, now I'm skipping a little bit. All right, so you're gonna notice you're gonna see a 2 previous day low. Okay. Now, because this was a reset, guys, sometimes the reset will actually take out the previous day, right? So, which this one actually did. Let me look back here. So this was the low of the previous day of the high that failed. And then now we had where it took that high out. Okay, so I count this as a 1 previous day. And then, this looks ugly, sorry. So day 2, which is now the safety trade, which we normally would call it in the BTM world, or a day 2 trend trade. Like we're expecting, the prices to continue to drop. Okay. And remember, you're typically going to be able to take your entries. If you missed the earlier session, obviously this was Asia going into London. If you miss an earlier entry, then your entry is at the close, yesterday's close. All right. That's something that he says all the time. Consider your entry as last night's close. Okay. And that's where that would be. So let me just make this a little bit cleaner. So that would be the close down here. I don't have the indicator for yesterday's for the close or the open. I'm getting the open indicator added to the dashboard, right? I don't think for me, it's so close that yesterday's close and the open price are just so close together. I don't think that it really makes a big difference, right? All right. So that would be where we would take our trade from. Okay. And that's our day 2 trend trade. So then here comes Friday, which is day 3, right? Which is also where we would expect a reversal to happen. Okay. So this is so sloppy. Sorry. So that's a 1 previous day. This is 2 previous day. And then now we have 3. So once I see 3, I'm like, okay, this thing hit, took out the low 3 times. I am looking for this thing to reverse. And it did, right? It did just that. And it was in the earlier session. Obviously, Euro JPY is, a London pair. Sometimes we do get great trades in New York, but this was definitely played out. Okay. So that's how we do it, guys. Now, again, this was a reset, right? We had a higher high on Tuesday, another higher high on Wednesday. The market reset. We have a new peak high. This is, technically I count those as day ones, right? And then day 2 and day 3, because it just follows, the Burke method, right? Wednesday resets as 1, 2, 3. Sometimes you get it like that perfectly along with the weekly template, and sometimes it's off a little bit, but just keep that in mind. And just know that the dashboard, I'm emphasizing this because it's not going to show it's not going to show 3 on the dashboard because the resets don't count the first break. They don't count this. Okay. Now the reset starts to count on Thursday. I don't know if we can ever fix that. I have tried to see if we can figure out something, but for right now, guys, you just use your eyeballs. Okay. Use your eyeballs and all the things that, I just shared with you just now to know where you are in the cycle. Okay. So that was EJ. Let's look at EF. Let's just look at 3 examples because, the market always does 3 things. Let's look at 3 things. All right. So we have EF, which also shows a 2 peak high and then, of course, 2 breaks. Now, this one's a little different. So, okay, here we go. Monday was day 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so Monday was the open range. Tuesday put in a high. And we can see the pump has started. This is a beautiful head and shoulders pattern. All right. We have another higher high on Wednesday, reset. Okay. Market reset. So higher high, boom, it failed. All right. So you see how the open and the close are just barely just going across this, right? This is just barely going across. Now, the next day, right? This one, I would still count this only because I know that this is the higher high and it failed, right? I'm always going to look at the next day being the trade. Now, we didn't have any breaks, right? No previous day breaks of the low, right? We just had a flat ranging market. Okay. So the next day, which is our day 2 trend trade, right? Because it's the day after the peak, right? This is going to be also what would be considered a first red day. Okay. Because this, after the peak confirms, this is really confirming that this is a peak high, basically. Right. And because we had an inside day here, we had nothing going on, guys. I would totally expect day 2 to actually present a trade. I would totally expect that. And I'll be looking for that thing to happen. So one of the things, you could do, you can measure the low to the daily high. And again, this is a euro pair. So this is obviously for the earlier sessions. Okay. I'll measure that low right there, as you can see. And then of course the low on the inside is also a clue right there for you. Okay. And that's how we get into the trade. All right. So now the indicator is going to flow, right? We have our 2. So now this is a 1 previous day break. And then we had our second one on Friday. All right. So I'm expecting when the market's open that we'll have an opportunity to break it one more time. Right. And once we break it one more time, it could reverse that day or it could reverse the following day. As we saw earlier in EJ, it reversed that day of the 3 previous day low breaks, excuse me. Okay. So that is what you need to keep in mind. So let's look at another one. Let's see if, I think it was the pound Aussie. Was it the pound Aussie? No, that's a 1 peak formation. We looked at, oh, no, it's not Euro Aussie. Perhaps it's EuroCAD. There we go. All right, so it's EuroCAD, guys. Bring this back here. So we can see 2 peak formation, 2 previous day lows. So let's just count the ways. Okay. So Monday was the open range. As you can see, price was inside on Monday. Tuesday, we have a higher high. And we have a lower low. So we hit the range on both sides. That automatically is a signal day as well. We hit the range on both sides. We have a confirmed, the next day we should be able to confirm the which way we're going, right? And as we can see, guys, we have a low right here on the inside. So that's a clue that we're going to confirm a short trade. We get to the Wednesday, which is, again, the 3-day reversal trade. Remember, this is the front side. Now we're going to the back side. Okay. So we had our confirmation, the low in the inside. As you can see, price closed and open right around here. So we take our entries from there. Okay. That's how we get into the market. As we can see, we had a higher low, right? Because that's a higher high, higher low, but it did reset the market, right? We got a reset, and that's why it's, we showing this here and not here. So we got a reset, and here we go, guys. We broke the low, so I'm counting that as 1, right? We have another low that was broken here, 2, and then that previous low, boom, 3, and then what did we get? We got the reversal. It was choppy, but we still got it. Okay. Now, before I go jumping up and down and saying, okay, the market is ready to actually reverse, I'm going to wait. I'm going to leave this one alone. I won't come back here. We have all the signs here saying that the ADR has been maxed out, right? It exceeded the daily range on Friday. So this market is one that we would just wait until it's actually confirmed. Perhaps we get another low, right? Let it come back and hit the low once more, or at least attempt to hit it. And then boom, this area right here, this high here, which would be our higher high. This is what we're looking to get taken out. Boom, for us to go on long. And that would be what we're looking for next. Is that going to happen on Monday? I don't know. It could take 2 days. Sometimes the market takes 2 or 3 days. So, but that would be what to expect next. You don't just jump in and go, oh, we're going long now. We have 3 previous day low breaks and we have a max ADR and blah, blah, blah. No, you still need to wait for the market to set up and confirm, just like it did here. It set up beautifully. We got the high, we got the low. We came back up here because we figured it was probably going to try and take it out, but it didn't. It reset. And then boom, we have our entry from yesterday's close, or the open of the day, and we have our first trade. The next day is our day 2 trend trade. Okay. And then again, the market right there, the close or the open, whichever one you're using, boom, that is your entry. All right. And then you had an opportunity to re-enter this market going into New York. Right. And that was a beautiful scalable trade. Those are the trades that we're looking for all the time. Okay. And as you can see, we're often getting maybe 2 or 3 trades out of a pair during the week that are somewhat scalable. I mean, okay, you're going to get one that's definitely scalable, and the second one could be scalable, but you're not holding it. Okay. Maybe that's what I should say. All right. Now, or maybe this could have been the trade if it wasn't for the holiday. You know what I'm saying? But now that the holiday is coming to a close, when the market opens today, I'm going to be on these charts, guys. We're going to be on these charts because we know we're going to have some explosive moves now that we're coming back out of a holiday. Another thing I want you guys to consider, and stuff that I've learned from Stacy Burke, is Friday's close, right? So he always talks about the closing price of Friday. So what I do now, this is something else I'm going to get added to the indicator, is Friday's close, because you can see how price is always reacting to it. And then we want to know Friday's like high, because price could definitely respond to that area, because we're looking for it to either extend that area, right? Whether it's extending the range above or below. Okay. And then of course the low of Friday, which ends up to be beautifully marked as previous week low. It's not always that way, but if it is that way, then that's great. And it's just one less, line that you want to add to your chart. But you want to identify these areas. They're significant, as well as the other ones that I have on here for you to be able to trade off of. Okay. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this training and look forward to your feedback, and we'll see you in the next one.